What is up, ninjas? My name is Several. Hope you're having a good morning, a good evening, a good afternoon, a good wank. Because today we're going to be creating a deep house breakdown and talking about how to create one. Now this tutorial has been getting requested a lot, guys, and honestly when it comes to a deep house breakdown, I feel like simplicity is key, but sometimes being simple, being basic is like one of the hardest things we can do as insecure producers. We tend to overdo it, and that's what I like about deep house is that the breakdowns are very chill, they're very simple, but again, simplicity is one of the hardest things we can possibly achieve. So I've written down a couple of notes for myself as we create this breakdown to make sure that we have the essentials and nothing more. For instance, we need to have one main attraction that could be a vocal or a top melody that you want to have in there. You don't want to have two main attractions because what tends to happen is that if you have a vocal and a melody, they're gonna fight for your attention. So you gotta think, okay, what do I want my listeners to key in on? Everything else that we add is gonna be supplementary to accentuate it, like a pad, atmosphere, chords, and whatnot. So hopefully this tutorial helps some of you guys out. Now the sounds we're gonna be using in this video, guys, are gonna come from the new selected Soundbank that is gonna be coming out this Friday. It's gonna contain about 110 presets in the style of selected deep house. So make sure to check it out. Those are the sounds we're going to be using for this video. And if you guys like them and you want to support the channel, that is going to be the best way to do it, guys. You support me, and at the same time, I know you're getting some sick sounds in return that I put a lot of work into. Without further ado, guys, let's go straight into Ableton. Alright guys, so welcome inside of Ableton, and first off I do have some bad news. The bad news is I made this tutorial with the intention of doing everything live for you guys from scratch, and I did it, but my voice came out fucked up. I don't want to record 30 minutes of me doing this all over again, so we're going to use this, what we have, the finished outcome, to talk a little bit about how to approach in creating a proper deep house breakdown, okay? If you guys want to watch that video unedited with my shitty voice, my big crush voice, you guys can check it out. I'll make sure to put it in an unlisted video so you guys can watch it all the way through if that's what you were looking for. However, here, guys, let's get started with this. So we had the drop done before we started the tutorial, which sounds like this. Alright, so the first thing we did here, guys, is we used this chord, this bass, to create chords out of it for the break. And a lot of times if you have the drop done already, the break should be the easiest part to get done because you just need to have a main attraction, like I said, which in this instance for this tutorial is going to be a vocal that we're going to hear later on. And then chords and just supplementary information that goes with it. And also you can bring in a little bit of the drop in the break as long as you don't let it take control, let it be on top of the vocal, like take attention away from it. As you're gonna see, we want to create this sort of thing that works well together. So making chords, guys, is pretty simple when it comes to it. If you grab the bass, usually with these type of drops, we do make the chords first before we make the drop, obviously, because it's a lot easier to go. We just have rhythm and that's about it. So here what we do pretty much is just grab the bass, get rid of the rhythm on the piano, and then we just do this. This is going to give us the chord progression. And again, you know, if you want to start off with the chord progression, that's totally fine as well. So right now this sounds like this. Very standard. We make chords with it. Just count 2 notes up in the scale. 1, 2. That gives us the second note in the triad of the F major, I believe, the F major chord, and then 1, 2 again. Okay, now from here, we're going to open voice this after we fix just a couple of notes that are a bit bad here. We want all the white keys for the A minor scale. A little bit racist if you ask me, but it's all good. And yeah, we should be good now. Sounds like crap because it's all bunched up together. Okay, so what we're going to do is open voice that, so that way it doesn't sound all muffled because all of these notes are hitting around the same octave range. So we're going to open voice it. That is going to be the term for that, and that's really going to help us. One more up. And then this note here, this is a bad note. Okay, cool. And now what we're going to do is do an inversion to make this sound fuller. So the top note, the third note in that triad in the chords, is going to come down. That's called an inversion, guys. And that's going to help us in just getting this to sound a lot fuller. because now what's going to happen is this note comes down here, we cover more of this frequency range, and then the top note takes lead of the top melody of that chord. A lot of times the top note that you have, this one right here, is the one that dictates sort of like the melodic aspect of a chord, which, you know, is pretty cool. You can always have the fifth or that third note in the chord, but then it just makes it, you get that kind of future based vibe out of it at times. So a lot of times just in doing an inversion with open voicing can help a lot. Now, in order to get this piano to fit with the vocal, because most vocals are going to be in mono, we did widen it. But the problem with widening is that if you widen the whole piano and you're playing bottom notes, you're also going to widen those low frequencies. And as you guys know, I'm not a huge fan of having my bass, my low end information, like sub information, be in stereo. Because then what happens, it doesn't sound tight. So what I decided to do here is add a utility from Ableton, which is the bass mono, which will help in making all of that mono again underneath 158 hertz. So once we have that, we add a respace, which is just a super saw that is playing at very low octave. We also bass mono that just in case there's a bit of stereo frequencies there in the low end region, and a bit of reverb to it. Now the next thing is super cool, and this is something that everyone should teach in a deep house video, deep house tutorial, because it's so overdone, but it works so well. So in big room house, to fill out something, we have white noise, obviously. In deep house, we have the string that plays one note all the way through to create tension and also fill out the mix. And the cool thing about it is that it hovers. So you can use a string instrument, or you can use a super saw that I've made a preset for this, where you reverb the crap out of it. So that way it doesn't have those super high harmonics in a way. It kind of muffles them, diffuses them, and it sounds a little smoother, and it can also act as a string. Last thing I do want to add to this piano is just so that it's not so damn strong, I am going to add this piano, and this is something I didn't do in that other video, but I'm going to add this velocity piano preset. I call it my piano, and it just helps in easing it up a bit. You can see the difference. We're going to lower that string. And we are pretty much done there. Now the next thing we have, the important thing, it is going to be the vocal. Now the vocal is in A minor, and it's from a Roned vocal sample pack. You guys are always asking me where I get these vocals, and they come from Splice. The vocal's in A minor, it's in mono, of course. And there's a bit of processing done to it just because I didn't like the way it sounded right out of the box. And I'll play it to you guys without anything on it, without any of the processing, and we'll talk a little bit about it.
I can hear whispers from far away. I can hide, but I'll try. I see the walls are caving in.
And this is the second part of the vocal.
If I were to stay in here forever, I would want the sun to come alive.
My favorite part of it's coming up.
If my heart was lighter than a feather, I would slip away into the night. Send me ultraviolet signals through the silence.
So that part is so beautiful, man. Dun, dun, dun. All right, so the vocal, as you can see, there's some things wrong with it. So we used an EQ to get rid of these lows here.
I can hear whispers.
We added to the highs, but as you can see, there's a sound there. So that's where you want to use a de-esser. And the de-esser is super cool, guys, because what it literally is, it's going to be an EQ that is a compressor, so a dynamic EQ. And what you do with it is you find the frequency that is giving the s with an EQ, and then you select it. You go into a bandpass mode, not a high pass, because a high pass is going to sidechain all of the top frequencies. We want to just sidechain that specific one, and then we just pull down on this guy.
I can hear whispers from far away.
So you can see it work.
I can hear whispers.
Nasty.
I can hear whispers.
And then now this pulls down on it. So now with another EQ.
I can hear whispers from far away.
Okay, we're gonna add a bit more compression. As I found that the vocal, you can see kind of the dynamics of it are a bit all over the place, so a little bit more compression was needed.
I can hear whispers from far away.
EQ.
I can hide, but I'll try. I see.
Now this EQ here is meant for another that she has that happens in certain parts of the vocal, but that happens at a lower frequency. So instead of using another de-esser, I just said, you know what, let's put this neutron to good use that I'm paying like $28 a month for, and like let's just get it to work.
I can hear whispers from far away.
And finally, the last thing is we add a parallel compression return. So this is the same as, you know, doing parallel compression, opening up a new channel and then compressing hard on it and sending the vocal there. So right now for this one, we're sending this vocal
I can hear whispers from
here
far
where it's getting heavily compressed.
away. I can hide, but I'll try. I see the walls are caving in.
This is going to help in just pushing it to the front of the mix. You know, you can't overdo it when you use this, but just be gentle. Don't have it at full volume.
I can hear whispers from
But
far
mix it in.
away. I can hide, but I'll try. I see the walls are caving in, but I'm not ready to fly.
And there we go. We are going to be done with that part of the break. Now here we have a bit of a transition. As you can see, the vocal shifts from the verse here into the chorus. And I already showed you guys the chorus. So there what we did is we resolutionized we ended the melody, the chord progression. And then we have this reverse vocal from the Cashmere pattern. A lot of times when people use these, they mess up because they put it right to end right here. And the thing you want is you want to have it overlap a bit with the crash that you're going to add for the transition, as well as add a bit of a fade so that they kind of mix sort of like this. So we have this a little bit there. So that way we get, and it just works really good as you can. That's the best way to do it rather than having, okay. And then we just have a white noise to help transition that. And that's going to sound like. So we do have a crash that's gonna again help that transition out. You can add an impact just as long as it's not that much lows. Now here in the chorus, this is like the perfect opportunity where you want to bring in the drums from the drop, and you also want to bring in the melody or the bass from the drop. The key thing here when you're bringing the drop variations here so that we bridge the break and the drop, you know, correlation is the key. I made a video on this where you want a bit of the sounds of the break and the drops to intermesh in that transition from the break to the drop so that it makes sense. You know, that's the best way to bridge the gap. So we're gonna have the bass and everything come in. Of course, you're gonna filter it so that way, you know, it just sounds a little better, this top melody. It's gonna slowly come in until we finally reach that. Drums also get a bit of a cut on the high so that, again, they sound more in the back. In order to create depth in a song, if you want to push stuff to the back of the mix, you can either, one, cut the highs, add reverb, add delay, stereo imaging. Mono tends to sound farther away than stereo, and vice versa. Now here what we do have is this Endless Smile going ham on this. And Endless Smile is super dope because it's pretty much a reverb that is coming in and also a low cut or a high pass. So as you're approaching that drop, we're kind of thinning it out, making it sound a little bit weaker, while at the same time adding a lot of atmosphere, and it helps the drop just sound more massive. So definitely a plugin to grab. However, if you are looking for a free alternative, you can go with the bass clef washout for this. So as we approach that drop, we do have this snare build that's coming from a 909 drum. This is from the Confession Revolution Volume 3 pack, but you can use a 909 drum machine. Get rid of some of the mid-lows, which is where the power comes from them, as we just want them more for the for that sound. Man, man, with the proper melody, this gives me goosebumps, which means it's a good thing. I have to remember this feeling I'm getting in this tutorial, because I do plan on finishing this song up, because I did have a lot of fun making the break for you guys. Like, honestly, I get goosebumps from just this little part.
Send me ultraviolet signals through the silence into the horizon. Elevate.
But that's pretty much it, guys. As you can see, the vocal, what we want to create is this vocal. We want to make sure the vocal is the main center of attraction. Towards the end, the vocal starts to lose a bit here, as you can see, because that melody starts to come in. It starts to bridge the gap with the listeners already going like, okay, I know what's coming on the break, on the drop. So when it happens, they expect it already, and they're like, fuck yes. Okay, it comes in powerful as hell, and that's what we want. So as you can see, make the main attraction be the main attraction. Don't add stuff that's going to take away from it. Revolve the mix and the break around that vocal. Even if something sounds shitty by itself, as long as that vocal sounds good and everything sounds good as a whole, that is the important thing. But as always, guys, thank you guys for watching. Again, sorry, I wanted to do this live for you guys, and I did. So I put the link for the unlisted video down below. My voice is fucked, giving you a heads up. I'll probably mess up here and there, but just ignore that. And I hope that you guys have fun watching it. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial, and hopefully it helps some of you guys out. You guys take care. Peace out. I'll leave you guys with the song, I guess, in the outro, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for another video.
Send me ultraviolet